Now, the world's largest smartphone maker, that's, you've guessed it, Samsung Electronics, has posted a record quarterly profit, boosted mainly by growing sales of its smartphones. Well, it made a net profit of some 7.15 trillion won, that's $6.4 billion, up from 5 trillion won a year ago. Well, the results are in sharp contrast with rival Apple, which earlier this week reported a drop in quarterly profits for the first time in a decade. But earlier, Ben Wood, that's the director of research at the telecom consultancy CCS Insight, disputed Samsung is winning the battle of the smartphones hands down.
Apple is still defying gravity and made over $12 billion with their results. It's just the expectation was so high for those guys that they got punished for that. And absolutely, Samsung is on fire. Looking at these results, the mobile division contributed 3/4 of that profit that you talked about.
So it's mobile driving the growth within Samsung. And is a key differentiating factor between Samsung and Apple, which is perhaps giving them the slight edge in this quarter, is because they have a slightly more diversified product range, some of which I think you have before you. Talk me through your Samsung goodie bag.
Well, before we get to obviously in terms of product range, yes, Samsung sells phones from, a few dollars at the bottom end right up to many hundreds of dollars at the top. But the flagship products, these products here, whether it's products like the Galaxy S3, which has been the powerhouse for this profit and these results this time, this newer category of slightly bigger phones, which they have the Galaxy Note, but it's called the phablet category, has been very successful for them, and it's a category that they created. And then the one,
I'm intrigued by that name.
So the phablet is a cross between a phone and a tablet. It's one of these dreadful. So this is an example of that. So if you put them side by side, so you can get a feel for kind of how these look.
And this is the phablet.
That's the phablet, the bigger one, which has a 5.5-inch screen and the traditional kind of 4.8-inch screen. And this is very much catering towards the world that we live in now, that people are very much consuming content on their devices. We move from this kind of voice interaction with a phone to a visual interaction, head down, content, video, and everything else. But the big one and the story of the moment is this product here, which is the Galaxy S4, which is the product which you will see all of the advertising, global campaign. They're launching this to over 300 operators in over 150 markets, and this is the one that the shortages we've been talking about are also being encountered.